Terrible news, as Scott Hall has passed away at the age of 63. WWE have confirmed this on their social media platforms, writing, WWE is saddened to learn that two-time WWE Hall of Famer Scott Hall has passed away. WWE extends its condolences to Hall's family, friends, and fans. We echo that sentiment here at Cultaholic Wrestling, and we've put together a tribute video in honor of the late, great Scott Hall.
Scott Oliver Hall was born on October the 20th, 1958. As the child in a military family, he moved around constantly, attending high school in Munich, Germany, before attending St. Mary's College in Maryland. Scott originally wanted to be a children's doctor, but it wasn't long after he started pro wrestling training that he realized that would be his true calling. He debuted in 1984, and almost immediately people saw him as a future world star. He competed for the likes of the NWA, the AWA, and New Japan Pro Wrestling before settling in the WWF in 1992. It was there he became a household name as the bad guy, Razor Ramon. His time in the WWF saw him win the Intercontinental Championship on multiple occasions and compete in timeless matches against the likes of the 1-2-3 Kid and Bret Hart. Oh, as well as two very famous ladder matches against Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 10 and SummerSlam 1995. As big an impact as he made in the WWF, it would pale to what he did in 1996, signing with World Championship Wrestling, jumping the guardrail during Nitro, and changing wrestling forever. He, along with longtime friend Kevin Nash, formed the Outsiders and were involved in one of the most famous heel turns in professional wrestling history, as Hulk Hogan joined them to form the New World Order at Bash at the Beach 1996. Hall would remain part of various incarnations of the NWO until he departed WCW in early 2000. He would have brief runs with ECW, All Japan Pro Wrestling, and back to New Japan Pro Wrestling before he returned to WWE and reformed the NWO with Hogan and Nash in early 2002. For the latter years of his in-ring career, Hall would wrestle for TNA, IWA Puerto Rico, and WWC before his eventual retirement in 2010. His problems with drugs and alcohol were openly discussed in an emotional E60 documentary and on a WWE Network special, Living on a Razor's Edge. With the help of Diamond Dallas Page, Hall rebuilt his life from the ground up, physically, mentally, professionally, and spiritually. For his achievements in wrestling, Scott Hall was inducted twice into the WWE Hall of Fame. First in 2014 as Razor Ramon, and then in 2021 as part of the NWO. Kevin Nash, Scott Hall's longtime friend, paid tribute, saying, "I have been blessed to have a friend that took me at face value, and I him. See you down the road, Scott. I couldn't love a human being any more than I do you." We here at Cultaholic extend our condolences to the friends and family of the late, great WWE Hall of Famer, Scott Hall.
Put simply, there has never been another wrestler so effortlessly cool as Scott Hall, a wonderfully charismatic and talented performer who impacted so many of our childhoods in such a huge way. If you were lucky enough to grow up, as I was, watching Scott Hall in WCW, in the WWF, or perhaps even earlier, then you'll know just how utterly entertaining he was in promos, in matches. Anytime he was on the screen, you were just totally glued to it. And he's certainly one of the wrestlers that I wanted to be growing up because of just how ridiculously cool he was. He didn't need to say much to make a huge point, if that makes sense. He was a truly one-of-a-kind performer. Monday Night Raw opened tonight with a graphic paying tribute to Scott Hall. Kevin Owens then opened the show in the arena with the iconic "Hey Yo," and I have no doubt that will not be the last tribute that is paid to Scott Hall on Monday Night Raw. Both on and off screen, you're going to hear countless stories as the days and weeks progress about the bad guy. And some of those have already been posted, and some really, really touching stories out there already. A few of Scott's friends and colleagues have already taken to Twitter, and again, it's incredibly early, so more will no doubt be published even by the time this video goes live. Sean Waltman, X-Pac, simply tweeting, "He's gone." Brian G. James, the former Road Dogg, tweeting, "God, thank you for the relationship I had with Big Skit Hall. Hashtag rest easy Razor. You will be missed, my friend." Ted DiBiase tweeting, "My heart and prayers go out to the family of Scott Hall. He was a great wrestler, a likable guy, and will be missed. As some of you may remember, I had the pleasure of wrestling my last singles match in WWE against Razor Ramon." Lance Storm simply tweeting, "Rest in peace, Scott Hall. My condolences to his friends and family." And most recently, at the time of recording at least, Malachi Black tweeting, "I had the utmost pleasure of sitting in class with Sean and Scott while watching back their infamous ladder match at the request of Johnny Gargano and hear them explain why and how they did what they did. A valuable memory that will remain a lifetime. Travel easy, Scott." In his later years, Scott gave a huge amount of help to upcoming wrestlers, both in WWE at the Performance Center and at various indie shows. So many stories have come out about how helpful Scott could be backstage, and he would always assist with matches where it was possible for him to do that. And you know, there's really nobody better to have guiding you than Scott Hall. I could list countless Scott Hall moments that bring back incredibly happy memories for me as a child. 1-2-3 Kids victory on Raw against Razor Ramon, which was a real breakout moment for Sean Waltman, the friend of Scott Hall, and Scott Hall played it so incredibly well. There were incredible moments in the NWO, which Scott Hall was an integral part of. You've obviously got the ladder matches at WrestleMania, at SummerSlam. The Austin Stunner Cell as well springs to mind. But there are so many, and those are being shared online. You will no doubt see so many of them in the next few days. A truly tragic day. One of the GOATs. And I guess I'll leave you with what Scott Hall said at the end of his Hall of Fame induction speech, which was, "Hard work pays off, dreams come true, bad times don't last, but bad guys do."